What's up? What's up?
How are you doing today, superstar?
Man, I am doing great, man. So everybody, like I'm telling you, y'all in for a treat today, honestly. So we do these every Thursday where I interview an agent that's providing tremendous value in the real estate community. And I'm telling you, today is the day. If you don't know this guy by now, you're gonna know him straight up. I mean, he is the most energetic, the most outgoing guy. I tell you, man, like if I was a rapper, dude, I would hire you as my hype man. I mean, that's just how this whole thing is. But I mean, I'm
Thank you.
happy to be here with Jonathan Rosser. And Jonathan, man, like I know we've known each other. We got to know each other over, I guess, a couple of years now, and I've been liking some of the stuff that you've been doing. But
Thank you.
like, tell us about you, man. Who you are, how you got into real estate, and just your whole process.
James, thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me on here. And thank you for being who you are. Because between you and Levi McDonald and just the team, it has been life changing for me and my wife. Now, interestingly enough, I got in real estate in October 1984. But now, prior to doing that, I was already self employed. My wife and I finished high school on the same day. We marched side by side from Central High in Noonan, Georgia on May the 29th, 1967. And how we got to be side by side was because her last name was Richardson and mine Rosser. So, and I'm going to tell you, this is how I got in real estate now. And what happened is we both went off, and she went down to Bethune-Cookman. I came to Atlanta, went to Morris Brown. Both of us married somebody else. Both of those marriages ended. We got back together some years later. And I had been in the hair business and had been extremely successful. And she had gotten into real estate. And she was bringing the boys to my shop to get the haircut. And that's how we reconnected. Anyway, things started getting back together between us. And we had known each other since we were 5 because she used to come next door to where I lived to get her hair done. Anyway, rocked on. And when we got back together, she, um, I got in the insurance business for a while, but she was still doing real estate. I came home one afternoon, Jane. She showed me a check for $12,500. She said, "Baby, maybe you ought to consider getting into real estate." It took me 12 seconds or less. I said, "Okay." I got my license and it's been on ever since. And, and you talking about excited. And then to have that kind of a career and now we're just getting started now though. And to be in a system like what we have with EXP is off the chain. And then to have teammates like you and Levi and Jay and Brent and all the rest of them is off the chain. Just it make you feel like you well no, not make you know you're part of a success system. So that's how I got into the business. Now I had already done some things in real estate. As a matter of fact, I had bought 50 acres of land, 17 acres of land the week I graduated from high school. I graduated from high school, I was 17, and, and my birthday is June 11th. So what happened is our neighbor wanted to sell that land, and I had some information in the way he financed it for me. I bought those 17 acres in. So that was my first entree into real estate. And it just kept getting better from there. So what happened, this was back in 2019. I met Levi McDonald in a community meeting. And most before the EXP system, when you meet somebody in real estate, they were your competitor if you were not working a transaction together. Well, Levi and I hit it off well. We would be in the community meetings and all that stuff. And one day he called me and said, "Mr. Ross, I want you to look at something." And I said, "Okay," because it was Levi. I looked at it, man, and I had no interest whatsoever. I was in a situation where I was paying like me and my wife was paying like $20 a month, and that was for both of us. Flat rate, couple of $100 when we closed. No means it was just fine for where we were at that time. But hold on one second. And what happened was, wait a minute. And what happened was, uh, Levi is very consistent and persistent, but you already know that.
Yeah.
So he called me back, and we had just started working with a young lady up in Athens. And because I had had type 2 diabetes, it had taken about 80% of my vision away. So it was challenging to go show houses and do all that stuff. So I said, well, maybe this is just the right time to look at doing something different. And that's when I called Levi back. And that made all the difference in the world.
Man,
Now,
that's freaking awesome, dude. Because like, I mean, I think it's so many people, where they think they got the direction that they want to go in. They think they got the perfect scenario, the perfect situation, and like you said, things change, situations change, and just from that alone, got you to start thinking differently. And I was like, all right, let me pay a little bit more attention to this, right?
yes. And when I started to really listen to him and understand the system, it was exactly what I need. See, I'm 39. I got tons of experience, so I know what to do. But it's one thing when you got when your vision is you lose about 80% of your vision, it changes the environment. Okay, so the system was perfect for where I was at that time. Now, as you know, I'm gonna get all of my vision back because we both go get those twin ZR1s in
Yeah,
2024. That's just
right.
that's gonna happen, and
That's
I'm gonna
right.
drive mine. So I know I got to see to drive it. But anyway, back to the straight line. I joined in August of 2019, and I shared it with my wife. And now she didn't come with me. She started to see the thing because she had to see what I was doing in order for it to be done. Because Levi actually came to my house, got me set up on the computer, did all of that stuff, ordered my cars, everything, because I couldn't see how to do it, and she wasn't interested at that time. Jane, man, after about a year and a half, she started lending in when we started getting those revenue share checks. She started to understand, well, something must be here.
Yeah.
On September the 1st last year, she moved her license. It was 2 years, man. But that was wonderful. That was one of the best experiences I've ever had as it relates to how you work in this space. They may not come the day you invite them, but you just got to keep working, got to understand what we have. The system that we have is the best system for anybody with a real estate license that I've ever seen. I hadn't seen one that didn't work for. So that and now it's even better. Now she's actually a part of the team. I mean, I'm talking about her. She we didn't do the piece where each one of us have you know how you do the husband wife piece.
Yeah.
She got her own, man. She wanted to be her own. I said, okay, let's do
Let's do.
it.
Man, you unpack so much in that, dude. Because like you were saying, like people got to see sometimes. They don't really catch it right away, but they catch it in their own time. And when they catch it, it's a good time for them.
Right.
And like the whole situation of, like you said, once you start seeing the revenue share checks come in. Um, Dude, I mean, I just know, like this title, what I'm saying, building an exit, building an exit, right? And I'm sure, like, when you were selling real estate and you were doing your thing and just kind of working, and you was probably just thinking like, hey, this is good. I'm getting these checks that are $12,000, and what I'm saying, I'm able to put this in the bank and do what I'm doing, and go get me a Corvette if I needed to or whatever. But at some point down the road, I just believe that everybody's going to want to have an exit. So what was your exit before this? Like what were you thinking with your exits before EXP?
Well, this is what I actually did. You probably know the name Tom Hopkins, do you? Tom
Uh,
Tom Hopkins was one of the leading real estate trainers at that time. And she would carry me to see people like Tom and other great leaders, Zig Ziglar, all these kind of guys, to get your head in the right place to understand what you were doing. But to your point, what was the exit strategy? Because I know a lot about income taxes, and I had one of the greatest CPAs on the planet, Danny Outlaw, we would talk about things like that. So what I started doing, I would get some of my investors who had the capital. They would purchase the properties. They would take the write-off, and we would wrap those houses, and I would handle all of the management, and I would get a override over the payment. They would take the write-offs. So because they didn't need the cash flow, but the cash flow was my way out. That was my plan, and it was working well until the bottom fell out. Rates jumped up, and all of those kinds of things. So uh, that was the exit strategy I had. I figured I could get probably 50, 60 houses, and you get $100 a month or 50, 60 houses, you're doing pretty good, you know, especially when you don't go out to have to go out because we were on a financing them. They were actually buying the houses. And there was an equity piece that we would get at some point down the road. So it was a great exit strategy, but it came nowhere close to what we have now. This strategy we have now, it works anywhere for everybody all the time if they do their part. This is the only place I know where you can get paid to work. It ain't in real estate too. It ain't complicated. Can I say that?
Dude, I tell people all the time when they're talking, because like you mentioned before about like having that low split and low amount of money that you're paying, and I was like, all right, that sounds great, man, but what if you're able to get paid to be where you are? Like it's so many people that they scratch their head because it's a concept that's not really heard of. Like, what do you mean getting paid? Like, all right, so you're on this low split, or you're paying this low amount per month. What if you're getting paid to be at the company that you're part of? And I just tell them an example. I was like, man, if you do this thing the right way, and it's so many people like yourself, and so many people that we've been able to kind of connect with and partner with to do it the right way, you don't get paid. You don't pay to be at EXP. You get paid to be at EXP.
Right, right. And you have to be in it to understand it. Believe it or not, I was on a call with you guys this week, and I learned so much about KV Core and what all it can do on the backside, all that heavy lifting that I used to do. So what I'm going to do is leverage it, man. See, this is the way information is not knowledge. Information is only information. So you take information, internalize it, it becomes knowledge. But knowledge is not power. Only applied knowledge is power. Man, I'm one of the best people on the planet to apply knowledge. I'm talking to you. It ain't complicated.
That's it, man.
So I heard this in one of the trainings that 80% of the people that get real estate license never sell a house. I said, well, what do you get a real estate license for? Well, I understand it because that's what they're told, and they don't understand what they're doing when they get to that point. James, I figured out within the last 10 days how we're going to leverage that 80% of people, and we're going to put them in a system where they will sell a house in 6 months, and we will build our teams with those people because we have people to train you. Yeah, the system is designed to give you a mentor to take you through your first three sales. It's just what else can you ask for? And you don't
Man,
have to do the heavy lifting.
Man, I always say, man, it's just a matter of just really just kind of getting plugged in. Like that's really what it is. Like if you get plugged in with the right folks and start copying and using the system, like you're saying, like you can't help but to grow. I mean, I always talk. I use the Warren Buffett example when I'm talking to people, and I'll say, like, so Warren Buffett, one of the greatest investors that we know of, like the third richest man in the world right now, used to be number one. Um, if you had an opportunity to get trained by Warren Buffett on how to invest your money, versus getting paid, getting like a I don't know, a call bank, not call bank, but a Chase Bank employee that works there. Because that's really what like the brokerages are. The brokerages, they'll have people and they'll say like, well, yeah, we got trainers and this is our trainer, but the trainer never done it. They never sold houses on a high level, so how can they really teach you to sell houses on a high level? Well, here we have the actual agents itself that have sold hundreds, of homes a year, and they're imparting to your business to show you how to do the same thing. That's the biggest difference in what we have and what's everything else, and everybody else has.
That's right. And you've heard the expression before: success leave clues. No, success leave more clues. Success would teach you how to be successful, and you get the right mindset and do the same actions. You go get the same result. It ain't complicated, man. And seeing you and Levi, Dan Hillsman, and some of the other people I know personally, and then meeting Jay and knowing where Jay Kendall was when I met him and where he is now. No, we have the best system ever derived for anybody with a real estate license. Somebody may improve on it one day, but at this point, this is it. Period. On the
So
commercial side and over here.
so for you yourself, I mean, like I said, you've been out there, you've been around. I mean, you just not turned 39, and you got the whole world in front of you right now. Like
Right.
what are some of the things that you're doing, like communicating with people, to help them create an exit strategy for themselves as well?
Sharing with them exactly what I'm sharing right now. Getting them to open their mind up and see where they are and then determine where do you want to go. And that seemed to be the most challenging piece, but it's okay because I can cut that part. Because when you speak to somebody's subconscious, it continuously talk back to them. And when you ask a person, well, what are you going to do in the next 2 years or 3 or 4, 5 years? Are you going to get paid for that closing over and over and over? And they start asking you crazy questions like, what do you mean? Well, let me share it with you. Well, I don't have time now. Any excuse is all right. So I just say, okay. Is it okay if I call you back? And that's what I hit them back a little bit later. As you know, I just had a teammate join us after 2 years of being working with us, and it's consistency and persistency. But back to your specific question, share the information. That's our job. That's my job. I got one, just share it to anybody who wants to listen. Now, I think Brent said this. Uh, it, it, it was either Brent or Gene said that if the mental gate is closed, get on down the road. The mental gate has to be open. And if you constantly touch bases with them from time to time, you catch that mental gate open. And I've even gotten to the point where I say, is your mental gate open today? If they say yes or no, I determine what I do. Because the only time that we have, and this is the question for you, is when, Jay?
Right now.
Oh, that's it. It ain't complicated. That second we was in a moment ago, gone forever. That
Yeah.
next one, we don't know what go there. Somebody not. But the point that I'm making here, now is the only time we have. So if they are not ready to listen now, I say, okay, thank you very much. And it don't bother me whatsoever, man. Because 80% never sold a house. You talking about a fertile field that just need tending. It ain't complicated, man.
Yeah. 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 So I mean, so basically, man, like I guess it's two things, right? Like one, helping them to hit their right now goal, which is I gotta sell a house, I gotta get in production, I gotta get plugged in. Helping them with that thing, and then the
Mhm.
second part of it is like getting them to actually see the future, see what things could look like if we start this whole thing of kind of building this exit. A lot of us, and me included, at a point, because I remember when I was super young, and the guy told me like, hey, if you put X amount of dollars away, and by this time you'll have this amount of money and whatever, and it's like, And he put the years out there, and I was like, man, nah, that's too long, man. I don't want to.
I bet you feel different now.
Yeah, right now, just like, you know what, that guy, he had something. If I was a little bit open, if I would have done that, I mean, it would have made a big difference. But luckily enough, I did listen. Lucky enough, you did listen, and like that exit is being built and making it not only a difference for ourselves, but for the people that we're able to connect with and plug them into it as well.
Right. And see, you using our the model is the exit. I see it as catapulting to the next level of enjoyment. And once you get yourself in a position that your cash flow is growing, taking care of all of your expenses, and you have, I don't want to call it surplus, I'm going to call it you living in abundance. Now you can live, man, because what you're doing now is living and not existing. And before this system, I didn't know how anyone could do that in real estate. When I was in the hair business, man, I had more than one shop. I had operators. I had assistants. The key was leverage the leverage. When someone else is putting out energy and you getting paid and they're getting paid at the same time, and they have the opportunity to do what you're doing, it doesn't get any better than that. That's the
But that
best it
was,
gets.
that was the problem with the model before. It's like, there was leverage. We were, agents are being leveraged. People get leveraged all the time. Like, I mean,
Right.
that's just the way it is. Like, I mean, being leveraged is not necessarily a bad thing. It's a
No,
bad
not
thing
bad.
when you don't have any for yourself. You know, so like, if you're at a brokerage right now and you're working at that brokerage, you're being leveraged. But if you don't have the ability to create your own leverage, then that's where it gets bad because you're never able to grow, you're never able to build. Um, so, man, I gotta ask this question, dude. Like, if you don't mind, I don't know if you remember, like the story Levi told me about the bathroom. He said man, he said it at Cabo, and I was like, man, that was awesome. And I was, I mean, if you can share that particular story, because I mean, it hits home. It hits home, honestly.
Well, I heard this story, and this is the way it went. That was this uh, home in this small town, and they had an inside toilet installed, and the whole town started protesting and everything else about that. And they said, well, why y'all doing that? Say, but are you really gonna have being taking dumps in the house? And they say, yeah. So it just makes sense. And as time went on, it happened that uh, more and more people, as you know now, started to use have restrooms at home. It's commonplace now. And the moral of the story was that nobody could phantom that at that time. And that's how EXP's system is. Many people cannot phantom what's going on in the industry because it is so revolutionary. And if they can understand it's the greatest thing, just like the bathrooms in the house, you, it makes sense. So that was the moral of the story. Now, the way I
Yeah.
shared it with Levi had a funny point to it, but that's the moral of the story. It, you,
Yeah.
you got to see where it is. If you can see the future of today, then you can get engaged in front of what's happening now and get the benefit of it, which is gonna be in a few minutes. Because I know in my case right now, Jane, Thursday come every other day. I mean, you and I talked about me being with you over 2 weeks ago. It seemed like it was yesterday. Time is flying, but it's not time flying. We have things to do, and you and I are moving at a faster pace to get more done in the same amount of space. It ain't complicated, man. And I love it, love it, love it. That means I'm getting closer to my ZR1 faster.
Matching ZR1.
Yeah,
You got to make sure you put matching ones now.
yeah. Matching ZR1s, and now we can go get them off the line. So we'll arrange that too. Okay.
Hey, that's how we do it, man. That's how
All
we do
right.
it, man. It's like if I'm talking to people and I'm telling them like, look, like, all right, so when I was growing up, we had a telephone in the house, and that telephone had a cord. It was the big one that we used to carry around. We got the extended cord. We used to carry that phone around with the extended cord from room to room talking on the phone. When that first wireless phone come out, dude, it was like the best thing ever. Like that wireless phone, like I mean, we had that thing. We didn't have to have the thing tagging around. But the problem at that particular time was like people would stop putting it on charge, and the thing would be going dead on you, right?
Right.
Now there's only cell phones in the house. You know what I'm saying? Everybody has their very own cell phone. So there's not no such thing as, like, cause me and my sister used to argue back and forth. I want the phone. Give me the phone. You've been on the phone all day. It ain't none of that. Like everybody got their own phones right now. So like, and it's the same thing with like Uber, like taxi drivers. Like, what do you mean taxi drivers are gonna go away? What are you talking about? Blockbusters. What do you mean Blockbusters not gonna be around? I remember standing in line waiting for a particular movie that just came out, just sitting, waiting, hoping that somebody was gonna return that movie so I can grab it and take it home and watch it right away. Now it's like Netflix. Netflix, you just point and click. I mean, technology is gonna keep improving. And it's come to real estate, and that's what this whole thing is about. Like, the thing that we thought was going to be the situation forever is not the situation. Things are changing, things are moving, and that's what you're talking about right now.
And that's what it is. See, well, you just hit to see being 39 more than one time helped me an awful lot. I owned a medallion. That's what they called it at one time, which was a taxi license in Atlanta. And there was only a few of them. I mean, there was a limited amount. And because of that, they were expensive to get. And I met this cab driver when I was in the hair business who was about to come out and he wanted to sell his medallion. Well, I bought it. I wasn't going to drive no cab. I knew that already. So what I did, I would rent my cab out. I would have two people drive it, and they would drive it 6 days a week. I had it down one day for repair. Change or do all of that kind of stuff. It worked real well. Then one day I just got tired of it and I sold a medallion. But those kind of things happen, and we are in that space today. How you think. That's the big piece. How you think. And man, it is so awesome to be around the kind of people like you and Levi and Brent and our founder Glenn. Just that level of thinking to keep your brain expanding. And it's gonna happen with or without us. I decided that it's gonna happen with me and my wife. That's where it is, man. You know, and there is no limit. You can forget about sky. There is no limit. It's just what you decide you want to do.
Man, you hit the nail on the head with that one, dude. It's gonna happen with or without it. Netflix came with or without me, regardless.
Right, right,
Uber came with or without me. you
right,
know,
right.
this change in real estate is happening with or without me, and I'm just glad that I made the decision to be part of it. So,
Jay, how many times have you been invited to join EXP since you joined EXP?
yeah, okay, people reach out. Yep.
How many?
I don't know. I can't count them all.
I have not had one more invitation.
Yeah.
That's very important. Nobody other than Levi has invited me to EXP.
Wow.
Now think about that. Think about how many agents never heard of it. I talked to 3 agents, 3 brokers last week. They never heard of it.
Wow.
Can you imagine that?
I
I
can't.
talked to an agent down in Anniston, Alabama, and he serviced several of those little cities around there. And he said, well, let me talk to my broker and see if what you're talking about for real. I said, let me talk to your broker. That's who I need to talk to. Oh, do you remember? You might not. Do you remember when the 100% financing came out for mortgages?
Yep.
Okay,
Absolutely.
my wife and I had an airline pilot out there in Snellville who would go buy a house, and when we wrote the offer, we put the 100% financing in it. Okay. The first thing the agent asked me and my wife was, "Is it legal?"
Hmm.
I said, why don't you check with the commission? See, she wasn't gonna listen no way. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's these are the kind of things where we are today. Man, we gotta lay up a playing field. And when you got other teammates that can work with you, like what you said earlier, you can pick up the phone and call them. And if for whatever reason, they can make another phone call and that door just open for you. When Jay said we are financially aligned, I started hearing that word. And at first it didn't mean a lot. Jay Kinder, but the more you hear it, the more you understand it. The more you understand it, the more you grow. The more you grow, the more you know. It just go on and on.
Yeah,
And
man.
I got no words for this. Huh?
It's one of those things, man. Like when I first like I came obviously, but I still didn't fully grasp what this thing looked like all the
Right.
way. Like I had an idea, I had a vision, and obviously it was enough to make me move. But it just didn't really just sink in all the way until I had been here for a while and just start hearing stuff over and over again. I was just like, man, this makes so much sense.
And that allow you to understand why it take people some time
Yep,
to make their mind up to come over.
that's right.
Cause believe me, I didn't know all these benefits until after I got in and got started learning, and I'm still learning, man.
Yep.
I'm still learning. You know that training that you have with the KV core. I'm gonna find me some people to understand that piece of the technology, and they go help me and my wife go to the next level. It's off the chain, and we got the training on our team to
Yep.
do it.
Yep.
And thank you, man. You really, really, really are doing a phenomenal job in the leadership position. Just keep it up. That's all.
Appreciate it, Jonathan, man. Appreciate it. Well, look, man, like I mean, any parting words before you get out of here, man? Just like somebody that might be on the fence, somebody that might have heard about EXP and looking for an exit, looking for a way out, looking to increase their business. Like what parting words would you have for that particular person?
If if somebody haven't contacted you and you see this, then you can contact Jane or you can contact me, and we will share the information with you. This is the best system. Listen to the word system. The system is the answer. Now, I don't know if that was Sperry Rand or Gucci. I don't know who quoted that, but that is. And this system is the answer. It's just a matter. Once you see it, then you got to have an open mind to see it. Because like I said about them inside toilets, now all you have to do is just imagine, and most of us can't imagine not having a toilet in the house. Because you don't even call them toilets, you call them restroom, bathroom, they're all kind of words for them. But what if it was outdoors now? If you can put that kind of imagination in your brain, and then to see, can this really be? Because I remember, Jane, I had two pages, two beepers. Do you remember the beeper?
I remember the beeper.
Okay, I got my cell phone. Well, they didn't even call them cell phone then. Me and my wife in 1984. We got them both. She had an 84 Mercedes and I had an 84 Volvo. And we got them hardwired in. And that cost $3,500 at 35 cents a minute. There were no weekends and none of that stuff. It was expensive.
Yeah.
Jane, our business doubled. I'm going to tell you something. I would get in the car with a customer. I'll go out. We find the house. They like the house. I'll call my wife back at the office. We get back. She'd had the paperwork already prepared. We get there. I go over with the person, get it executed, and get it done that day. That didn't happen, man, until you had that cell phone. And we didn't know it was going to be where it is today. But the direct answer to your question, if you don't know what this is, find out. At least find out what you don't know. Then make a decision. And if it's not for you, get out of the way. But if it is, get on the team. It ain't complicated.
Love it, man. Love it. Like I told y'all, man, this was gonna be a good one. Jonathan, I appreciate you, brother.
Oh, thank you.
Once again, we do these every Thursday, 11 o'clock, interviewing an agent that's bringing tremendous value. I mean, Enough said, man. Hey,
Thank you, thank you, thank
definitely,
you.
hey, definitely come back, dude. We got to come back when we get our vets together, right?
Listen, we could do that whole thing. We could record that whole piece, okay? And show it to the world. Thank you very much. I'm counting on it. Thank you for having
All
me
right.
on. Okay.
All right. No problem. See everybody
All
next
right.
week.
Okay. All right.